They mocked the janitor's dreams until he became their new CEO. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Tap the like button and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support helps us keep bringing you interesting stories that deserves to be heard. Now, let's get into the story. The hum of fluorescent lights echoed through the silent hallways long after the last executive left for the night. Trash cans full of crumpled reports, coffee-stained mugs, empty offices with blinds half-drawn. And in the middle of it all, pushing a gray mop bucket, was a man they barely noticed, but never stopped mocking. His name was Darnell Hughes. Every night, he moved through the office with quiet precision, polished the conference room table where they made deals, emptied the bins they filled with discarded ideas, cleaned the fingerprints off the glass doors they walked through with inflated pride. He was 53, wore worn-out sneakers, faded janitor's coveralls, head always bowed, eyes always watching, listening, dreaming, because unlike what they thought, Darnell wasn't just mopping floors. He was absorbing everything, the reports, the conversations, the strategies, every chart left on a whiteboard, every comment mumbled under breath. While they scoffed at him for being just a janitor, Darnell was learning their business better than they did. They laughed when he tried to talk stocks in the break room. "You read about investments?" One junior associate snorted. "With what money? Lunch tokens?" They howled when they found out he was taking night classes online. "Bro, you fixing toilets and trying to be a CEO?" The cruelest one, Mason Briggs, a mid-level manager with a loud mouth and a louder ego, once spilled coffee on the carpet and handed Darnell a towel without looking up. "Clean that, Professor," he said, chuckling with the others. Darnell just smiled. "Yes, sir," and wiped it clean. But behind his silence lived a storm. They didn't know Darnell once dreamed of being a mechanical engineer, that he had dropped out of college when his father died and took the janitor job to support his siblings, that every night, after scrubbing urinals and vacuuming offices, he stayed up till 3 a.m. watching business lectures, coding tutorials, and corporate finance breakdowns. They didn't know he read annual reports the way they read gossip blogs, that he'd built a mock portfolio outperforming the firm's real one for 5 straight quarters. They didn't know because they never asked. They just saw the uniform and dismissed the man in it until the layoffs came. The company, Branford Technologies, had hit hard times. Stock dropped. Investors pulled out. The CEO, a proud man with slick suits and slicker excuses, resigned under pressure. The board went quiet. Tension spread like smoke. One Friday morning, the staff gathered in the atrium. Rumors swirled. Would they shut down? Sell out? The HR director stood nervously at the podium. "The board has made a decision," she said. "We have appointed an interim CEO to restructure and lead us forward." Murmurs. Whispers. Heads turned. Then she said it. "Please welcome Mr. Darnell Hughes." Silence. Then gasps. Laughter, nervous, confused. Someone muttered, "Wait, the janitor?" And then he stepped forward. No mop, no gloves, just a tailored gray suit. Eyes sharp, chin high. He took the mic. "Some of you know me as the guy who emptied your trash, cleaned your messes, stayed late, so you could walk into a clean office every morning." He paused. "I've worked here for 17 years. Not on your spreadsheets, but in your shadows. I've seen every corner of this company, from the break room to the boardroom. I know where we waste time, where we waste money, and I know exactly how to fix it." Shock, tension, then anger. Mason Briggs stood up. "This is a joke, right? You're telling me a janitor is going to run a tech company?" Darnell didn't flinch. "I may not have worn tie back then, but I wore discipline. I wore hunger. I wore humility. And those 3 things built empires long before business cards did." That was day 1, and the shift was seismic. He got to work, started reviewing contracts personally, cut bloated consulting deals, restructured the operations team, brought in a cybersecurity startup he'd been quietly advising on the side to improve their internal systems. Yes, the janitor had been consulting under an alias for years. He hosted open forums with employees from all levels, gave warehouse workers and customer service reps a direct line to leadership. Transparency went up. Morale followed. Profits? They soared. But the tension didn't vanish. Some of the old guard resented him, refused to call him sir. Mason tried to undermine him at every turn. "Don't get too comfortable," he whispered after a meeting. "You're still just a mop boy in a suit." Darnell looked at him. Calm, cold, better a mop boy in a suit than a coward in a tie. 2 months later, Mason was let go, not out of spite, but because Darnell reviewed his performance files, found years of inflated numbers, missed deadlines, and employee complaints. He was the rot behind many failed projects. But no one had looked, because he looked the part, while Darnell cleaned up what they ignored. Under Darnell's leadership, Branford Technologies transformed, not just financially, culturally. He started Ladders Up, a program that allowed janitors, assistants, cafeteria staff to attend free business seminars and mentorships with top executives. He turned the company gym into a 24-hour learning hub. He met every new hire personally. The man who used to clean up after people now led them with vision, discipline, and unmatched heart. And still, he never bragged. He never gloated. But he never forgot. One rainy Wednesday afternoon, Darnell walked past the same break room where they once laughed at him. A group of interns were arguing about an equity model. One of them, a young black man, looked flustered, his idea getting drowned out. Darnell stepped in quietly. "Mind if I join you?" They froze. One whispered, "That's Mr. Hughes." Darnell smiled. Just Darnell. He sat, listened, then explained the concept with such clarity that jaws dropped. The young man beamed. "That's exactly what I was trying to say." Darnell nodded. "You said it. They just weren't ready to hear it. But keep speaking." That's what made Darnell different. He didn't climb the ladder just for himself. He rebuilt it. Stronger, wider, for others to rise, too. Today, Branford Technologies is a Fortune 500 company. And Darnell Hughes? He's not just the CEO. He's a symbol, a reminder that intelligence has no uniform, that wisdom doesn't always sit at the head of the table. Sometimes it mops the floors beneath it. They mocked the janitor's dreams, laughed at his ambition, dismissed his presence. But they forgot the one rule that never fails. You never know who you're talking down to until you're looking up at them from the other side of a boardroom. Justice wasn't loud. It was steady, silent, unstoppable, just like Darnell. Because while they measure success by titles, he measured it by transformation. And now, every floor he once mopped carries his name. Never underestimate anyone based on their job, appearance, or current situation. True intelligence, resilience, and ambition often thrive in silence, waiting for the right moment to shine. Treat everyone with respect, because the person you look down on today may be the one you look up to tomorrow. Thanks for watching.